And welcome to the Review Tuesday. My name is Ruben, and this is my review for The Hejter, a Netflix original Polish film. Jan Komosa is the director of this, and it's about a young man who searches for purpose in a net of hatred and violence that he tries to control. First thing I should say about this film is it's long. It's 135 minutes long, so over 2 hours, and I do definitely think they could have shaved a bit of content off here. It is definitely a slow burn, but I also feel like the fruition of the storyline is worth it, if I can say worth it, with like a bit of sketchiness, because the ending is really tense and quite violent, but the story that leads you up to that moment, the whole film is tense, even though I felt like it wasn't trying to be tense. There's just this one lead protagonist that is creepy as hell, and you don't quite know why. There's something in his eyes that reminds me of films like, well, TV series like Dexter or Hannibal. It's nothing like that. The film isn't like that. It isn't about that sort of stuff. There's no serial killer in this here, but it's the emotionless intensity, if that makes sense, that he carries. He's definitely the carrier of the film. When you see him on screen, you're like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen next? Even though it starts off with him being expelled because he has plagiarized something, and so now his world is unraveling, and he finds this through wheeler dealing. He finds this job about social media and controlling the world around him with social media, and that is where the story just kind of unravels and expounds or explodes into the world of social media nastiness, where they control people's desires, where they control political parties, or what they're going to do, between fake media accounts, between just trolling, everything that is social media right now. It's very poignant for what's happening right now. There is this build and build and build, and so you see this protagonist who is trying to find a life for himself, but he's doing it very underhandedly. He's spying on people. He's always listening to people's conversation. He's putting himself in the lives of the people that he wants. So even when he finally gets something, you feel uneasy watching him, because you know how he's done that, how he's put himself in their lives. At the same time, I found it really difficult to like anybody in this film. It felt like everybody was bad, even the people he was putting himself in to be a part of their lives. It seemed like all those people, the choices they made, there was this definite theme of the film was trying to say about different political parties, about different social statuses, whether you're poor or rich, and it felt like they were saying like the rich are just really nasty. There were moments when they were the way they talked, the way they looked down on certain people. It was hard to relate emotionally or root for anybody really in this film. And then when you get to the end, I was still like, well, okay, not sure how I feel about that film. That's not to say the film isn't excellently crafted, because I think it is. It opens, the first few minutes, it opens with some fantastic cinematography. There's a shot in the streets with a riot that's going on, with some neon colorization that just looked brilliant. The way it was shot was filmed excellently. Every nightclub scene, there's a few, looks great. Every shot between dialogue and families and interactions that way, it's never boring to look at, even though it's a slow burn. And I think mostly, again, coming back to the protagonist, it's because you're wondering what he's going to do next, how he's going to handle the situation, and how he's going to get himself to where he wants to. But what I love about this film is, as you see him connecting the dots, or kind of pushing his way into doing things, to getting a leg up in the position he wants to be being involved in a relationship he wants to be, you as the viewer get to see the results of that, and you can see it in your mind. There's this dread that fills you, because you're like, oh my gosh, I know where this is going to lead. And so by the time you hit to the end, you know it's coming, but you still don't want it to come, if that makes sense. It's quite an impactful, like, a result of what could happen when you continuously push people in a certain direction. If you try and control them, what's going to happen? And you see it, and it's messed up, but it has a very interesting theme. Very well acted, very well performed. My only, it's not a negativity, but I know there's a lot of people that don't like reading subtitles. But I would say if you can handle it, definitely do, because the English is never great. There's very few times where I've seen a dubbing for a film and it be good enough to understand or relate those emotional intensities, that tone that they're definitely trying to tell you, what the director and the actors are trying to portray to you in the original language. So if you're listening to it in dubbing, you just don't quite get it. That's not to say that the dubbing actors aren't good. They weren't there acting those emotional parts. So they're in a studio with a mic, and you can be somewhat physical and somewhat portray what you need to when you're like doing the dubbing. But it's never the same when you're interacting with those people if you're the actual actor, because you'll get that emotional intensity. And so that is my only negative when it comes to if you don't speak English and you need to read the subtitles. I would say definitely do, because it didn't take me long until I forgot that I was reading the subtitles. The whole time I was just like, oh, I can't believe that's happened. Oh, that's nasty. It is an adult film, so do be aware there are a couple of sex scenes. There's a couple of there's one guy that is watching pornography, so you get a few seconds of that. So if you don't like that sort of stuff, you can maybe not watch this. There's some language, so do. Yeah, I don't think this is for the younger viewers. I think this is 15 and up, so bear that in mind. But I also thought it was an excellent film. It was very well put together. Very interesting. I'm going to have a look at what other Polish Netflix films are on the streaming service. I'm going to give this an A-. Chat to me in the comments below. Have you heard of this? Are you going to give it a go? We've got lots more content coming out this week. We've already had Umbrella season 2 on there, and we've got the spoilers coming on Saturday, and we had the director's interview for the Netflix animation film Animal Crackers, which I really enjoyed, so do check those out. There's loads on there. We've done a bunch of Quibi reviews as well, so loads of new content on our channel and more coming. Thanks so much for watching this, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.